Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our digital marketing webinar. My name is Daniel Thompson. I'm from the Economic Development and Marketing team here at the City of Fremantle. I'm just going to check that everybody can hear me okay, if we can have some nods. Okay, thank you very much. So a big thank you to Dr. Billy Sung of the School of Marketing at Curtin University, who has very kindly offered to do this presentation for our Fremantle businesses and share his knowledge of digital marketing with you all. It's been a time of uncertainty, and as restrictions are being lifted, we're going to see more changes as well. We've had a look at the pedestrians in and around Fremantle. There were twice as many in May as there were in April. We're starting to see people slowly come back to the streets, certainly not at pre-COVID levels yet. What's interesting was during COVID, we did have more people on the streets on weekdays rather than weekends, which, as you all know, is highly unusual for Fremantle. We're starting to see that weekend's traffic come back, which is great. So we're still a way off, but it's all happening now. And what this has meant is we've had an opportunity for businesses to perhaps spend a little bit more time on some things that they would like to spend a bit more time on. One of those perhaps being digital marketing. So Dr. Sung has very kindly offered to share his expertise, provide some tips and tricks. We're keen to have practical knowledge shared, some things that you can walk away with. He'll speak for about 40 minutes and do his presentation, and afterwards we'll have time for questions. There's a couple of functions. One, you can put your questions in the chat and we can get to them after the webinar, or there's also a raise hand function you can use as well, which once we get to the end of the webinar, we'll be able to take your questions then. The webinar will be recorded and we also will make slides available. So thanks to Dr. Sung for that. We will share that with you once we have them in the next day or two. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Sung. As I mentioned, he's from the School of Marketing at Curtin University. His specialties are in digital marketing and consumer psychology. And he leads the Consumer Research Lab at Curtin University. So Dr. Sung's interests are in why people spend in the way they do. We've worked with Dr. Sung on a few things in Fremantle, so we like to think of him as an honorary Fremantle citizen these days. Yeah, so a big thank you to Dr. Sung, and I'll hand it over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. And thank you very much for the introduction. And obviously, Fremantle is one of my favorite places in Perth. Now, I just want to extend my thanks to City of Fremantle for inviting me for this webinar, and to actually give me a chance to actually speak to you guys about digital marketing. So today, the webinar is really about basic on the digital marketing space, really looking at how we actually could leverage on the right content with the right digital platform. Now, a lot of businesses have actually asked me, so what are some of the right ways or the correct ways to actually market on the digital platform? There's actually no right answer or no one right answer. And so today we'll go through a little bit of the fundamentals of digital marketing, what I think is crucial, and also looking at some of the digital platforms and how you can actually leverage them with the right content. Now, just a little bit about myself. As Daniel have said, I'm a senior lecturer in the School of Marketing. If you have any questions after the seminar or webinar, please do feel free to send me an email. My email address is on the screen. Now, just another reminder that our session is being recorded. And so if you do not want your face to be in the recording, please don't switch on your video. All right, so what we'll go through is very quickly, basically this is a content page. Basically, we'll go through what is micro moment, And then we'll talk a little bit about search engine marketing, and then a little bit about social media advertising and social media marketing, and looking at what are the differences in them. Obviously, because this webinar is only 40 minutes, so we could only go through so much, but I will try and answer some of your questions at the end of this webinar. I might also be looking to my left because I actually have my laptop to make sure that I'm also looking into the chat. So if you do have questions during this webinar, please do feel free to either raise your hand, which is at the bottom of your screen, or to actually put on your questions in the chat box. Now, a very fundamental question that I always get from either the clients that I consult at Curtin University or businesses that have come to me and asked me a question is, how do I better design content? Now, one of my answer to this is about micro moments. Now, micro moments is basically a term that wasn't coined by myself. It was coined by Google and the smart people from Google. Basically, what micro moments are micro moments occurred when people reflectively turn to a device, increasingly a smartphone, to act on a need to learn something, to do something, discover something, watch something, or buy something. Now, looking at this definition, you will go, well, actually, you do that day to day. For myself, I do that day to day. So I would probably go to my smartphone and try and answer a question that I have at that particular moment. And that is why it is called micro moments. They are actually intent-rich moments when decisions are made and preferences are shaped. To give you a very good example, this morning at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., my cat, I own a cat for my partner, and the cat actually vomited. Now, the first thing I do is I basically go onto the smartphone and check what's wrong, right? So those are the micro moments. Now, if you're a vet, if you capture that micro moments, and if you have a blog post or if you have content that actually answer my question, I would have went into your website and possibly I would have noticed your brand. And so that is why micro moments is so crucial for businesses, especially when you are looking at digital marketing, because as we will go through very quickly later on, is that relevance is really the big thing about digital marketing. You have to be relevant to your customers, and exactly at that moment, what are the decisions that they're making, what are the questions that they have, what are the things that they want to do, so on and so forth. Now, micro moment is a big thing. And these are some of the statistics that are from Google, Microsoft, so on and so forth. So 91% of consumers actually turn to their phone, or individual turn to their phone for ideas in the middle of the task. So this might be watching a TV ad, doing something else, so on and so forth. And there is a micro moment where you need to actually satisfy. 82% of smartphone users say they consult their phone on purchase they are about to make in a store. I think a lot of us are fall victims to this, and I generally do that. So even if I'm in JB Hi-Fi or Good Guys, I looked at a appliance, I look at a laptop, I will go online and check the price. And why is that the case is because at that particular micro moment, I'm trying to purchase. However, I actually want to get the right price. And so the best price. So basically I go onto Google and basically search the same model, same specification, and actually see and compare price online, or even comparing physical retailers. And so these are the micro moments that we need to really look into. And 1 in 3 smartphone user has purchased from a company or brand other than the one that they intend to, because information provided in that moment is the ones that they need. And so you can kind of see that micro moments are crucial when you are actually looking into how we can actually engage in digital marketing, or engage in digital marketing more effectively. Now, to give you some examples of micro moments, you would have some of these moments yourself in day-to-day life. The I want to know moment, whereby curiosity can trigger by anything satisfied anytime. Or someone is basically exploring or researching, but not yet in purchase mode. So for instance, if you are looking for health insurance, what do? Well, you go onto the Google or your search engine of your preference, mostly Google, and actually search for health insurance in Western Australia. Or if you're looking at car insurance, it will be car insurance in Western Australia. So your search term really reflects what you exactly want to know at that particular moment. And therefore, we call it the I want to know moment. And obviously you have the I want to go moment, and Fremantle is a very, very applicable destination or place of the I want to go moment. In fact, if you think about this, a lot of the destination or places in Fremantles would attract metropolitan visitors, as we have done with City of Fremantle, a tracking project that we have done. We have seen a lot of metropolitan visitors, and to attract them into your physical store or physical location, or even noticing your brand in Fremantle, you actually need to tap into the I want to go moment, whereby people are looking for local businesses or considering buying a product at a local store. Now, one example of this is that there is 2 times, or the near me searches have grown doubled in the past year. And what this means is that people are actually searching for example, supermarket near me, cafe near me, so on and so forth. And Google and other search platforms are smart enough to actually notice that if it's a smartphone, they can track the location of it through 4G, so on and so forth, or through internet, and actually return results that are really near the customer. So if you say cafe near me, well, currently I'm in my house, I'm around south of the river, they probably will give me something in Victoria Park or near my house, so on and so forth. Now, we also have the I want to do moment, and these are mostly from YouTube. So basically, these are when customers come before they come before after the purchase, and either way, these are the how-to moment when people want help with getting things done or trying something new, so on and so forth. So for instance, in YouTube, there's 70% rise year on year for how-to searches on YouTube, so on and so forth. And so these are the micro moments that you can actually tap in, and these actually drive your content. So if you're thinking about the type of content that you need to create, or what are the themes of content that you need to create, my one suggestion or biggest suggestion is to actually map out the micro moments of your customers and actually provide them with basically the right content at that particular right moment. Now, obviously, at the end, you also have the I want to buy moment. So these are basically someone that is ready to make a purchase and may need help deciding what or how to buy. And so if your product or your brand or your service involves quite a complicated form or complicated process in purchase, such as a health insurance or insurance company, then you also need to make sure that those in the I want to buy moments to have website usability and a very positive or enjoyable user experience within your website or within where customers would go to buy that product. And obviously, today we won't talk too much about website usability. We will probably talk more about the micro moments of the I want to know, I want to go, and I want to do moments. To give you a little bit more examples is that if you think about this, every single small decision of us nowadays are probably are being searched on Google. Now, if you looked into basically some of the stats from Google, these days even the small decision are being researched. So about over 140% growth in the search for best umbrella. Or over 110% growth in searches for best travel accessory, best toothbrush, so on and so forth. Even if you look to the right, we have seen 1.5 times more mobile searches ending to avoid. So cooking oil brands to avoid, refrigerator to avoid, so on and so forth. And I do apologize, my notification seems to be popping up. I'll just close them. And you can see that how consumers are curious about things. So not only that they actually look for best things or near me searches, but they also would be looking for things like things to avoid. And so if you are engaging in digital marketing, what you want to do is to avoid those to avoid searches and making sure that those micro moments you don't pop up or your brand don't pop up. But for those micro moments that I want to buy, I want to go, so on and so forth moment, your brand actually pops up. And in fact, you can even look into ideas. So in the past 2 years, mobile searches for whatever ideas have grown over 55%. For example, bathroom remodeling ideas, graduation party ideas, so on and so forth. So those are the knowledge-rich micro moments that you actually tap in, whereby you can actually satisfy them using a landing page on your website or blog, so on and so forth. But all in all, what I'm trying to say here is to really map out basically the micro moments that your customer actually would experience, and actually deliver content in the digital platform and the right digital platform to actually match up with the micro moments that they're experiencing. So what are the questions, what are the information that they need? Now, to take an example, let's take a plumbing service as an example. So a plumbing service, this is pretty much based, I think, in Bentley. They offer a number of different services. So hot water system, blockchain, leak detection, leaking showers, general plumbing, so on and so forth. Now, if you think about this, the micro moments that are being targeted in these services are very different. Hot water system is probably when you are building a new house, you need a hot water system, or maybe your hot water system died and you need a new hot water system. This micro moment is very different to, let's say, a leaking micro moment. So if you have a leaking tap and a leaking shower, that is very different, and how you search is very different. So if you have a leaking shower, you probably go D for leaking shower, or how do I turn off the water in the house? Whereas in a hot water system example, you probably will be looking for cheapest hot water system, or cheapest hot water system near me, so on and so forth. Now, this actually have very, very big implication as to how you actually are doing your content marketing and in the digital platform, your search engine marketing, your search engine advertising, and even your social media marketing. Why is that the case? To give you an example, on the left of the screen, you can see emergency plumbing service. So if you look down of those results, you will see emergency plumbing, same-day service, emergency plumbing Perth, affordable service, Jim's plumbing available 24/7, so on and so forth. Now, because you have actually told Google that you need emergency plumbing service, Google's algorithm is here to provide you with the most relevant information, because their objective is for people to use the search bar or the search that they have. And so you have to think about that. Google is always optimizing the results or whatever that they are presenting to basically the inquiry of the consumer. And Google's algorithm is very smart. If you're actually emergency plumbing service, it will actually prioritize things like emergency, 24/7, need a plumber now, so on and so forth. Those wording will actually be prioritized. And because if you're a plumber, if you have those advertisement or search engine advertising or landing pages on your page that actually says emergency plumbing, your search page, or your landing page, or your ads will actually get prioritized. Now, in comparison to, let's say, the search in the middle, where you say Bentley plumber cheap. So obviously, grammatic mistake. However, Google knows this. So you are actually looking for a plumber in Bentley that is cheap. And so you can see the search result there is basically price tags. It's Bentley. It is prioritized Bentley plumber. Whereas on the right, you can actually see Bentley water system. So if you're looking at hot water system, you can actually see that they actually, or that you search for Bentley hot water system, they actually prioritize plumbers that in Bentley who also specialize in hot water system. And so this is a clear examples of how you should be actually leveraging on these micro moments. What do your customer actually search for when they're searching for your service or your product category? And in fact, what are the specific search terms that they're looking for? What are the unique selling proposition that your brand, your product, or your service offer that can be advertised, and maybe it could even be prioritized in your content creation? So what you can actually see here is digital marketing. There's always the saying that cash is king, but in digital marketing, relevance is king, or at least from my perspective. And I also have a condition, especially text plus some cash for paid media. Why is that the case? Is because if you think about this, every single digital media platform or digital marketing platform is text-based. It's still you can still put images in there. However, if you look at Google's algorithm is not advanced enough to actually look at an image without any text and actually determine what it is. Facebook the same, so on and so forth. In fact, what you will find is that we are still looking at a lot of the optimization being done in text. So basically the keywords or key phrases in your blogs, keywords and key phrases in your headings, keywords and key phrases on your landing pages, keywords and key phrases even on the title of your landing page, so on and so forth. And so text is very, very important elements that you need to optimize in order for you to actually pop up at the right micro moments. Because if you think about this, you can search with image now in Google, but how many times have you ever used the image search in the sense that you actually use an image to search for things? So text is a very important point. And obviously, cash for paid media is also quite important. If you're engaging in Google AdWords or Facebook advertising, you need some cash. But I will talk about that later on and why that is the case. Now, here is another examples of how that translates, or micro moments translate in the digital marketing ecosystem. Now, you can see that I actually say ecosystem because it shouldn't be that you are only just focusing on your paid ads. So for instance, if you are that plumber, and this is the plumber that I was basing it on, Rich Tech, no relationship at all, no commission, no advertising cost for Rich, but Rich Tech has done a very good job in actually targeting micro moments. And why is that the case? Is because if you search for plumbing Perth, not only the Google ads actually say Perth Perth plumber seal qual fee, for example. But also, if you click on the ad, it takes you to this landing page on the left. So it will say, we are your trusted professional electrician and plumbers in Perth. Book a free quote today, $0 call out free. On the right is when you actually search for, if you search for Bentley plumbing emergency or cheap Bentley plumbing in Bentley, so on and so forth. What happens is that not only the ad will actually say, oh, it's cheap, it's also zero call fee, a price tag that is very competitive. But when you click on the ad, you can see that it leads you to a website or a landing page on the website that actually says your local Bentley plumber, $0 call fee, so on and so forth. So you can see that micro moments is so crucial, not only at the start of when someone sees your ads, but also the whole journey or experience that they go through onto your website. So if they click on the website, does that landing page actually leads to a particular or answer the particular inquiry that the person is actually looking for? If someone is searching for a local Bentley plumber, you probably want to have a landing page that is actually specifically for it. You don't have to show it on your main website. You can hide it behind your server and basically point the people that is searching for local Bentley plumbing to actually this landing page and actually be more relevant to them. Now, here is another example. This is more so of a hotel example, and this is more a search engine optimization example. So this is not paid media, but these are, let's say, blog posts or websites that you have optimized to be top of the search results. Now, if you think about this, if someone is searching for, let's say, best hotel in Perth for family, so this actually are telling you that the people that is searching for this, at least this hotel, is probably someone that is looking for a family-friendly hotel in Perth. Now, if you can see, for instance, over here, Google have actually prioritized this website over here, singaporemotherfood.com, for some reason. But what it is because if you open this page, and my animation is a little bit out of place, but if you open this page over here or you click on link, this is the page that you actually see. So basically the most kid-friendly hotels in Perth. And basically what happens is it will tell you what is Perth about, and then it will list out. So 1, Gumleaf Cottage Farmstay, 2, Holiday Inn Perth City Centre, so on and so forth. Now, you can see that Google have prioritized this page in search engine optimization is because, or SEO, is because it actually provides a list of hotels that actually address this question, the best hotel in Perth for family, which the user have keyed in. And so for Google, this is the easiest because Google is smart enough, or the algorithm is smart enough to actually read each of your web pages or landing pages and go, oh, one, Gum Leaf Cottage Farmstay, that's a heading. Two, Holiday Inn Perth City Centre, that's a heading. And so all text is about that particular heading. And so what happens is Google will actually provide a summarized version of it in what we call a knowledge panel nowadays, and actually prioritize your websites. So for instance, if you are this blogger who actually are advertising for particular hotels, obviously he or she is getting a lot of, or this website is getting a lot of traffic. If someone is searching for best hotel in Perth, you get advertising budget up, or get advertising fee up, so on and so forth. But not only that, if you think about this, if there are links within your web page, and there are links within this blogger's website. So for instance, this is a link, this is a link, this over here is a link, this over here is a link. If you click on these links, so for instance, if I click on family getaway in under Holiday Inn Perth City, what happens is that will take you to Holiday Inn's website, which actually mention about family getaway packages, how kid-friendly they are, so on and so forth. And that actually, again, boosts up your SEO. So again, as I said, this marketing is much more like an a ecosystem. So not only your website have to be optimized with text that is relevant to the search term or the micro moments, but also the link that you actually linked into also should have text. So Holiday Inn, if you're featuring Holiday Inn on your website, Holiday Inn should also have those keywords and key phrases. And so that is why SEO takes a long time. And also how micro moments actually transcend from basic search results to the landing pages of your pages, to even the link within your website or that landing pages, so on and so forth. And so it is really a big ecosystem of micro moments in a digital platform. Now, you might ask, wow, that's a lot to consider. Is there a particular way to actually really envision basically all these micro moments? And I say that there's no one right model or one best model, but I always look at what we call the hierarchy of effect. So this actually shows you basically 4 different stages of how consumer actually decide on a particular brand or product or services. And obviously, it's not the most comprehensive model. However, it is probably a good model to base on if you are thinking to actually sit down with your team or sit down with your marketing manager, so on and so forth, to actually think about what are the micro moments that I want to target. For example, do you really want to target, if you're a florist, do you actually want to target Valentine's Day, obviously? But what are the keywords that they actually look for? Or what are the things that I need to do in order in February to actually capture those customer, so on and so forth. But this model actually basically shows that buyer actually go through an exploration stage. So basically this is when they're exploring different alternative. Then they go through a decision-making page, this phase, which is when they have probably 4 or 5 different options that they are weighting against. They would have a stage that they now decided to purchase, but where to purchase. And obviously after they purchase, they will advocate for your brand, hopefully. Now, why do I think this is a good breakdown of or model that actually guides your micro moments thinking is because when you're exploring something, it's very different to when you're trying to compare different options. And especially this is very, very different, or these 2 stages are very different to when you have decided to purchase and now you want to actually think about where to purchase. For instance, when I'm exploring, let's say a new laptop, if I want a new laptop, I might go, okay, I want a new laptop that is virtual reality compatible, so I can actually play VR games on it. You might be searching for VR compatible laptop in exploration stage. So this is an exploration micro moment. However, once you have gone through a few websites, you kind of go, yep, I have about 3 or 4 options that I really want to do. You might go into the decision-making phase, and your key words or key phrases that you use to search, or the things that you want to look at, is not VR compatible laptop anymore. Obviously, it is still VR compatible laptop, but now we are looking at specific model. Let's say HP EZBook or Lenovo M160, so on and so forth, right? These are all VR compatible laptop because from your exploration stage, you have identified these options. And now you want to go compare them. In the decision-making phase, your search term is very different, and especially purchasing. So where you're going to purchase, JB Hi-Fi, Good Guys, so on and so forth. Every single physical store in a laptop context or a laptop decision-making context sell you the same thing if you're be careful with all the specification that are different with JB Hi-Fi and Good Guys. Sometimes the RAM is a little bit different or the CPU is a little bit different, but most of them sell the same thing. So then price is the driving factor in the purchasing decision, at least for the laptop application. Now, if you think about this, the micro moments would differ not only from exploration, decision-making, purchasing, and efficacy, but also that this actually informs how you should be actually reaching out to your customers at that particular page. So for instance, when they are actually doing exploration, you probably are looking for search engines and social networks. When they are making a decision, they probably are looking for review websites. So for a laptop perspective, you probably will find a lot of review websites for laptops or VR compatible websites. Your websites, so the brand's websites, blogs, community, interactive tools. And when you're purchasing, it's probably on a e-commerce process or e-commerce platform, either your own websites or the brand's websites or aggregators. So there are Catch, pricebargain.com.au, so on and so forth. These are all aggregators that actually aggregates all the offering from different stages. In fact, Google now has an aggregator by itself. If you type in a particular product, let's say if you type in this Lenovo laptop, the first thing that it pops up is all the product offering that is listed on Google. And therefore, you can actually scroll through to see what is the lowest price, so on and so forth. And obviously, in the efficacy stage, it's probably more so social media, so on and so forth. And this would also inform your key measure. But I think for the time being, we won't go through that. But to give you another example here is how basically in efficacy or in all these different decisions or these micro moments, how social media marketing works. So these are three brands that in Australia. They have been doing quite well in digital marketing or social media marketing. And you can actually see that they have a lot of organic likes. So these are likes or engagement that they haven't paid for. It's just organic, it's free. But you can actually see a common theme within them. So they're not selling the product. HBF is not selling the insurance. They are selling the insurance. They're branding themselves. They're branding themselves to make sure that people actually say that, oh, HBF is very helpful. HBF is very useful or provide me with useful information when about insurance claims, so on and so forth. Swiss, for instance, are not just selling the immune solution. They're talking about how do you actually keep a good immune system. And obviously, if you watch this video, it will go through some tips on how to, to eat prebiotic fibers, how to be more to enhance your immune system. But at the end, they will say, oh, also you can also take Swiss because it has prebiotic fibers, so on and so forth. But if you think about this, what they're doing here is they're actually not trying to sell the product. They're not trying to do a promotional post. And obviously, why is that the case? Is because these are probably targeted to exploration and efficacy. Because if you're searching for immune system booster or how to enhance my immune system, you probably might be interested in this post, but you probably won't be very interested if a Swiss is blatantly selling you the immune health solution, so on and so forth. And obviously, RAC as well, you can see that engagement are mostly to useful information that are not really regarding products or brand directly. Now, let's move on to search engine marketing. So we now know about micro moments. So let's go through for the next 10 to 15 minutes, let's go through search engine marketing and social media marketing in a deep dive. Now, we talk a lot about search engine marketing in this webinar. In fact, if you think about this, I won't ask you to answer this, but think about what did you search for on Google in the past 7 days, or the search engine that you preferred, say Yahoo, so on and so forth. For me, I'll share mine. Basically, as I said, last night at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., I heard my cat vomiting, so I was just basically searching for cat vomit, right? I was looking for, let's say, in a week ago, I was looking for digital marketing examples, good digital marketing example for this webinar, so on and so forth. So those are micro moments, right? The micro moments. And if you are a, let's say a vet, you probably would have tapped into that micro moments where if your cat is vomiting, here are some examples. And in fact, if it's really severe, come and see us, right? That's how you actually tap into micro moments. And if you think about all these searches that you have done, if you actually go through your searches again or type in your searches, now think about what are the things that they are actually targeting in the micro moments, because you can actually see how good digital marketers or digital marketing strategies are actually targeting that. In fact, if you click on all the searches results, you will actually see that they have really been designed to actually optimize that user journey. But with search engine marketing, there is two types. So basically there is SEM, so search engine marketing. These are the paid ads. Obviously, Google doesn't have this anymore, but basically SEM comes on top of the page, and SEO are basically the organic searches that comes at the bottom after probably 3 to 4 Google ads. Now, so SEO is all about organic listing, and this is all about your keywords and key phrases within your websites, whereas SEM is keywords and key phrases within your website, but also your keywords and key phrases within the ads that you have written. So these are paid listing, and these go through Google Ads, or what we call pay-per-click ad. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, to give you an example, for instance, you can actually look into where you want to actually invest your digital marketing budget. As I said, search engine marketing is really targeted to intention-rich moments. So for instance, this is probably a search term or search keywords that I do pretty much every single weekend, because my partner really loves going to brunch places. But she probably have I run out of ideas, and therefore we are trying to find new brunch places in Perth. Now, I'm pretty sure, I don't have the statistic, but I'm pretty sure a lot of couples or a lot of people will be searching the same thing every single day. Now, what you can actually see, or not every single day, but every single weekend, but you can see that there's only SEOs. These are all organic results. So where to find the best preference in Perth, urban list Perth, urban list, broadsheets.com.au. These are all bloggers who are posting where to find brunch places. But if you're a cafe, wouldn't you be actually targeting that intention-rich moment? If someone is actually looking for new brunch places in Perth, chances are they are really wanting to have a brunch in a particular place that they are not familiar with. And so what you can actually do is leverage on this and go to be the first one to do Google Ads. So invest maybe $20 per day, $30 per weekend, or $40 per weekend on or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to actually have, if you're a cafe, to actually tap onto these keywords. In Google Ads, you can say, if someone search for new brunch places, and particularly if the location is in Perth, or they are in Perth, or the IP address is in Perth, I want my ads to be shown. And your ads will be shown way above over here, and that captures the micro moments. That will capture my micro moments if you even optimize your ad to say, finding a new brunch places, try this, or something like that. Or have you tried so-and-so brand in Perth? Best brunch places in Perth, so on and so forth. And so what we also need to consider is, in search engine marketing, not only the micro moments, but what are the activities and benefits that people are actually looking for. Now, this is a digital benefit framework that wasn't come up by me. It was come up by Chafei, which is quite a old veteran in digital marketing for a very long time. But he came up with basically, these are some of the major benefits that people derive from a digital platform. So to connect with each other, more so in social media or social networking sites, to create something. Is it to create, let's say, co-create a particular product or service, to learn about something, to access information, to enjoy something, so entertaining yourself, so on and so forth, to trade and transact, so to conduct shopping, and to give, either giving time or giving financial donation. So those are the benefits that we need to actually to think about when we are actually thinking about micro moments. So within each stages, at least in search and marketing, within those stages, exploration, decision making, we only need to consider what are the micro moments within those stages that we need to capture, but also what are the benefit that you're actually trying to tap into. Are you trying to connect with them when they are exploring particular things? It probably is a service brand, and therefore you need to connect with your potential customer a little bit more before they actually commit. So for instance, if you're a real estate agent or so on and so forth, generally speaking, it will go through emails, so on and so forth. But how do you make sure that people email you? How do you make sure that people actually go onto your social media and look at what you are sharing as a brand, so on and so forth? Now, another example here is basically if you type in Pizza Hut, and mostly in weekdays, look at what results or the first top results. And that is also why in a few slides back, I actually said that when you're looking at search engine marketing, a little bit of cash is very important. Why is that the case? Is because your competitor can actually bid against your brand or against your product category. So what you see here is if you search for pizza mostly on weekdays, Domino ads comes up, 30% off hot Domino pizza. Why? Because Domino understand that if you're searching for Pizza Hut at a particular weekdays, your decision-making process, yes, you have probably go, I want Pizza Hut, but if I entice you with a financial incentive, then off hot Domino pizza, pick up or home delivery now, you probably would click on my ad. In fact, it actually traces my IP address and go, well, it's in Carrara. The nearest place is in Carrara, which is very close to where I live. So basically what you can actually see is Domino actually spent probably $1 a click or maybe 90 cents a click to actually outbid Pizza Hut. In fact, if you look into that, Pizza Hut then started, this is about 6 months ago, Pizza Hut started making sure that they bid for their own keywords, but because Domino was first in there and a lot of people already been clicking on this ad, Google obviously prioritized, people get money. Every time someone click on your ad, charges Domino certain amount of money. And so it prioritized Domino. And now if you, every time in the weekdays, you type Pizza Hut in the Google Ads or Google search bar, you will actually find Domino's ads that says 30% off. You will actually also find Pizza Hut giving discounts. In fact, if you're interested, do it in for the whole weekdays, so Monday to Friday. What you will see is that Domino's sometimes say 30%, then Pizza Hut will change its ad to 31% off. Domino might say Pizza Hut might say 29%. Domino will go 29.5 or 30% off. So you can actually see how dynamic that is. In fact, if you look into on the right, this is when someone is searching for best postgraduate in digital marketing in Perth. And so what I'm glad is this is a unit that I teach in Curtin University, so digital interactive marketing. So you can see that Curtin have done quite a bit of work to actually make sure that best postgraduate digital marketing and Perth, those keywords is actually embedded into your in the landing page, because that will actually ensure that we are the top results that are coming up in the search results. And obviously, Curtin has been beating a few other competitors, UWA, ECU, on organic search engine optimization. So their websites are really optimized to really the micro moments that are being for. Now, I won't go on for too much longer. I want to go through a little bit about social media marketing. But if you are interested in looking at keywords, demand, and performance analysis, here are some free tools for you. I will also share the slides so you can have the links as well. For Google Keyword Planner, you just need a free Google ad. It will record your credit card details, but it's a free tool when you have any Google accounts, when you sign up and link it to Google Ads. And this is how it looks like. Now, moving on to social media marketing, and I want to touch base, I guess, very quickly, just 5 to 10 minutes on social media marketing, because we have talked about social engine marketing. Now, social media marketing is a little bit different than search engine. However, it is also quite similar. Why is that the case? Is because social media marketing is also very much based on text. But one thing is that we also need to actually look at how are people actually using, or when are they using social media? Well, Yellow Page, yes, they still exist, conducted a research in 2018, and it seems like in Australia, most people use it in the first thing in the morning, in the evening, last thing before they go to bed, and breaks. this shows you that in that context, being relevant to these people, you cannot be promotional. And that is also why an example given you, a lot of the organic posts, organic engagement really stems out from basically providing useful information in that particular moment, because people are not wanting to actually look at promotional posts or explicit promotional posts first thing in the morning, break in the evening. These are the break time. And so that is why we need to look into what are the reasons for people to use social media. Well, to catch up with friends, to share photography for new and current events, watch videos, and so forth. And so social media is still used for the social aspect of our daily life. And so in social media marketing, we have to incorporate that social context. And obviously, digital benefit comes into play here again. I won't go through too much, but how does your content actually benefit or satisfy these benefits? Does your social media post actually connect with people? Does it allow people to create something, to participate in a competition, to learn about something, learn about your immune system, learn about where to go for your next road? And therefore, you might go into RAC's cabinet or the new units that are running Cabernet Park, so on and so forth. Are social media marketing or the post that you're posting engaging, entertaining, so on and so forth? But to give you some examples of why people unfollow brands, this is actually done by Sprout Social in 2019. Poor customer said irrelevant content, too many ads, so on and so forth. In fact, if we look at why they follow brands, it's the same thing. They want to learn about new products or services, to be entertained, to stay up to date, so on and so forth. But also, they also said that if there is too many promotional posts, so that's the last slide, they will unfollow the brand. And so what they're saying is they want to learn about the new product and services, but I want to know how you actually benefit me. I don't want to know about your product and services by itself, but I want to know how does that actually fit into my daily life? How is it compatible? How do you make it entertaining? How do you make it to satisfy my micro moments, the questions that I'm trying to solve over here? And so one of the other thing about social media, not only the micro moments, but when you're looking at social media marketing, you also need to look at your buyer personas. These are basically where are they situated, what are the personality, what are the behaviors, so on and so forth. Why is that the case? It's because if you think about this, your customers will not have one micro moments that applies to everyone. Some other customers or specific customers would have particular micro moments for your product or services, and their personal buyer persona actually dictate how they search or what they're going to search for. And in fact, this is why social media marketing is so prevalent in the digital space, because if you look at Facebook and Instagram or Facebook ad nowadays, you can specifically target particular buyer persona from location to language. So what language they speak, what is the educational level, what are the financial aspects of estimation, home, whether you are interested in entertainment and what type of entertainment, relationship are you in? Are you a mother or your father? Are you married? Are you a couple? Are you interested in fitness? Are you interested in food? Are you interested in cooking? Or are you interested in beverage? So on and so forth. The amount of data that social media platform has on you is basically, in fact, you don't even know that they're probably tracking you. So once you're using your mobile device, you can even say, I want to target people who have been to Fremantle in the past 1 week, and actually provide them with an ad that is relevant to them if they have been there in a week. Or maybe I don't want to target these people because they probably won't come back and their residential is outside of Fremantle, let's say, and they have been here for 1 week. I don't want to target them. You can also do that. And so you can see that what is the added advantage of social media marketing is that there is all these data at your fingertip, and you can really target anything you want. And Facebook and Instagram will probably optimize the algorithm to make sure that your ad is shown to the most relevant person at the most relevant time. I'm a little bit mindful of time, so I'm going to go through the last few slides a little bit quicker. But you can even do location targeting on Google or on social media. Google is a little bit harder because Google search or a browser on your smartphone won't be able to actually access location data most of the time. Sometimes it does. But when you open up a Facebook app or Instagram or a Twitter app, the location functions start, and if you have turned on your location function on smart devices, it will simply record your location. And that is also how Google Map actually knows where you park, where have you been, so on and so forth. So you can actually target everyone in this location, people who live in this location, recently in this location, and travel to this location. Then you can actually attract walk-in customers, drive purchases. So if you're a physical store, you might want to go, okay, I just want to target people who are in the 10 kilometers radius. And if they haven't been here for the past week, so those are walk-in customers, I want to catch them if they're searching for, let's say, a cafe near me or a souvenir near me, and so on and so forth. One of the things that I really want to touch on at the last probably 2 to 3 minutes is really to find your suitable platform. So you can see that search engine marketing is about intention-rich platform, whereas social media is about buyer personas, being relevant to those buyer personas, and also taking into account social aspect. But also within social media marketing, there's different types of social media platform, and they serve different functions. So we'll go through them very quickly. The good old social networks ones, these are Twitter and LinkedIn. So these are basically social networks that help people and organizations to connect online. But you can actually see that these social network or older types of social network are basically knowledge sharing network. And so they're useful for information rich ads to humanize your brand, to engage with followers and research. Why is that the case? If you think about this, Facebook users are very tolerant towards promotional ads. In fact, they're more likely to engage with you on Facebook than in Twitter. Facebook than in Instagram, because in Instagram, they probably just like your post or like your image, right? And so these types of social media platform called social networks like Facebook and Twitter, these are where you should be humanizing your brand, engaging with your followers, and actually providing information-rich ads or information-rich posts. Whereas if you compare to, let's say, media sharing sites, so these are Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube, they are basically a platform for users to create and share unique media and to spark conversation and speak for themselves. And so what you are seeing here is unique contents that not only that cannot be information rich, they are image-based content or video-based content, and they should, in some sense, actually tap into the entertainment benefits. So they actually make your engagement is really driven by whether the content is relevant to them and whether they think that that is entertaining, and whether those media assets actually have follow specific themes that actually are relevant to that to those micro moments. I won't go through the trend. I'll let you read through it when I make the slides available. But you could also think about social media platform as review and discussion forum. So for instance, Reddit, Quora, so on and so forth, review websites or discussion forums are also social media platform. Now, these are more so basically social proof for your claim. So for TripAdvisor, for example, or restaurants review websites, so on and so forth, here you actually need to make sure that you have a social community that actually makes as to actually provide positive word of mouth, and you are actually resolving issues of unhappy customers. When you're going through TripAdvisor, good hotels, what they do is that they will have a social media marketing team that actually monitors TripAdvisor and actually try and resolve issue, or at least try to address the issue and explicitly on the website or on the TripAdvisor web to make sure that other users or other customers who look through those review websites actually see that, oh yeah, you are actually quite empathetic, you actually resolve my issue. And so the content within the review and discussion forum are probably not driven by yourself or your brand, but you have to monitor them as well. Last but not least, you also have blogs. So these are basically things that not only to help you with SEO, but probably to provide information. And these probably are not promotional information. These are indirect information that actually drive traffic to your websites to actually gain visibility and generate more engaging content for your social channels, so on and so forth. Now, I won't go through too much, but basically, you can actually see the different types of social media network. On Facebook, which are the social networks, the older social networks, you need to have promotional, informational, knowledge, or informational rich posts. From Instagram, where it's media sharing websites, you're actually sharing media, entertaining and interesting and engaging content. In the review websites or review social media networks, you're looking to actually be more engaging. Engage with a customer, resolve their issues, or thank them if they leave a good review, so on and so forth. And on blogs and publishing networks like Medium or your own website, you are actually making sure that your content generate visibility. So obviously, direct promotional blog posts won't actually generate visibility. Things like tips to for your weekend, for family getaway in Fremantle, would things like that. All right, so I would end it here. I know I'm a little bit out of time, so I'm going to invite back Daniel to facilitate, I guess, the Q&A.
Thanks, Billy. That was fantastic. Really do appreciate that presentation. I'd like to invite all our attendees to ask any questions. You can raise your hand, there's a button down the bottom, or you can put something in the chat, or indeed feel free to just jump in by turning your microphone on first if there are any questions. While we're waiting, I might just kick things off, Billy. So lots of information there and quite a lot to take in. As we said before, we'll provide the slides and recording to our attendees. What do you think would be a quick 1, 2, 3 item takeaway list that people could go and do today or this week? What are some of the ones that someone can get off this webinar and just go and do?
I think I guess a few things that I would suggest, the take-home message or the takeaway from this seminar that can be actionable is really start to have a brainstorming session of micro moments. So sit down with your team or even sit down yourself and actually think about what are the micro moments that you want to try to capture. And those micro moments, if you are the customers, what are the search term that you are going to search for? That will actually provide you with a host of different actionable recommendations. Not only what you should be putting onto your websites, so the keywords and key phrases, what are the keywords and key phrases that you want to target in your Facebook ad, but also you will start to actually develop a sense of what kind of content you need to create. So for instance, if I'm sitting down and if I'm, let's say, a cafe, it might be, best cafe, best coffee, brunch places, so on and so forth. You start to actually understand that, oh, these are the content or some of the content on social media and on my blog. I need to post this, or my website have to talk about this, so on and so forth. So that's one. And the second take home or actionable recommendation is really think about how you're actually using particular platform. If you have paid ads on both social media platforms and Google ads, are they really targeting particular functions, or are they really leveraging on the particular functions? So Google, you should be looking at the keywords and key phrases in those rich intention-rich moments. Whereas in social media, look into what you're actually sharing on social media. Are they entertaining? Are they actually do they actually align with the functions or the usage of those social media platforms? So Facebook should be things about information, can be a little bit more promotional, whereas Instagram are visual based. There is probably very little promotional. And you can even go through your Facebook and Instagram history, going through some of the posts and identify kind of key theme. And you will actually see that in Instagram, how people or the engagement rates of Instagram is really determined by whether your visual is aesthetic, whether your video is entertaining, whereas Facebook is whether your posts are useful. And what you will notice is if you ever featured a product on Instagram, is that engagement rate of that post or that image or that video will probably be lower than all the other images that you have actually shared. And so you have to devise a strategies or a particular plan to go, so what are the particular functions that I want particular platform to actually serve here? So social media, should it be more so to engage people, whereas my website should be more promotional, so on and so forth. Daniel, did I answer your question?
You did, thank you, Billy. Sorry, I didn't share my audio. Was there any anybody, any of our attendees that had any other questions for Billy, you're welcome to be quite specific with your business or your use of social media or marketing as well. Billy's happy to take on those questions too.
Everyone is very quiet this morning.
It is, maybe they haven't had their second coffee. That's okay. What we might do. Billy's kindly left his email up on the screen. I will send through the slides. For those participants who haven't given us our email through an RSVP, feel free to put it in the chat or to send it through to me directly or to Billy directly. And we can share those slides with you as well. And yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for attending our Fremantle businesses, and also a big thank you to you, Billy. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this, and also thanks for making yourself available for follow-up questions too. That's greatly appreciated.
No worries. And yes, do email me. And if you have any questions or any other things that you want to clarify, happy to answer those emails.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Billy, and thanks everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.